Hello everyone and welcome to a build order on the Byzantines. This build order is going to show you how to play full feudal aggression and potentially beat many of the civs that are really good at doing feudal. And so this build order will show you how you do hippodrome into archers and then mercenary camps. And so what you're essentially looking for is a lot of raid damage, and then you hit it with a ram timing attack in the end. As usual, the build order is linked down in the description below. And if you have any questions about the build, you can also ask them in the comments. All right, let's get to it. The first things you're going to be doing is you're going to be sending 5 villagers to food. And the 6th villager will be doing a cistern. The cistern placement is very, very important because what we're trying to do is minimize the amount of time that we spend walking and building aqueducts and so on. And so what you're doing is you're placing the cistern on the opposite side of where the gold is. Why is that? Well, that is because we want to use the gold villager later to build the second cistern. We are not gathering stone in this build. So what you're doing is you're placing the cistern on the opposite side of the TC from where the gold is. So if the gold was up here, we would be placing the cistern here. If the gold was here, the cistern would be placed perhaps here. That villager will build a cistern and a house, and you'll be rallying food villagers onto 7. After that, you go on to gold until you have 3 on gold, and then you go back to food until you can age up. It's very simple, and you can get some really good timings as well with this build order, getting up at about 350, if not earlier. So the villager here, cistern, house, we're going to get up to 7 on food here, and then what you do is you take this villager and build a mining camp with it. Then after that, you rally 2 villagers onto gold and back to food. With your scout, it's important you scout the sheep. And you can do that by doing a rather safe scouting route, go to the middle, to the side, then back home. Alright. Keep going here. You go and rally on here. Back to food afterwards. Try to have the villagers always inside of the cistern aura. If you can't get that, then you placed your cistern in the wrong position. Drop off sheep, go to the other side. And now we are approaching the time where we're going to be aging up. You're going to be aging up with 4 villagers in total. And that should give you a timing at about 350. Sometimes you can get it earlier, sometimes later. Depends on how much time you've wasted. So at 215, 213, drop off all your food and all your gold. Take a look at your gold vein, 3900 gold or below, then you know you have enough gold. And then get the hippodrome placed. Place this towards the barriers if possible. This is not necessarily that important, but it does reduce your idle time because these villagers will go to the berries after. You keep the gold villagers here, you go up to 6 on food, and then after that you rally onto the straggler trees. And you keep rallying on straggler trees until you have 8 on wood, and then you go back to food. Hippodrome placed here on the corner of the cistern here, or closer to the cistern depending on where the berries are, and these villagers go to the berries after. Very simple. The reason we go on the mill this late is because we want to get a nice timing. We don't want to delay by walking to the berries early, and then we just want to get it the moment we can get wheelbarrow, because we want to get wheelbarrow early in this build. When you're aged up, you're going to be doing a couple of different things. You're going to be taking your hippodrome and queuing up horsemen. You want to queue about 3 horsemen, maybe 4, and then you get your expilatoris cavalry tech so that you get gold and extra damage on the workers, because the first few horsemen, they will group up together and go and attack enemy villagers. You can use your triumph ability for extra damage and movement speed, and you can get almost every single game a couple of villager kills this way. It is a really, really strong opener, and this is part of why this build is so good. It's because of that fast horseman timing with a lot of extra damage. The 4 villagers here, they go to build the mill. 1 builds the mill, or 2 builds the mill, and then 2 gather berries. And then you take 1 gold villager. That gold villager will build the cistern, preferably close to the berries. And then you want to build the aqueduct afterwards to connect the 2 cisterns. Keep rallying on food. You're going to get up to 10, wood. And then you're going to get up to 10 food villagers with the berry vills. At this point, you also build a house, but that is also detailed in the build order linked in the description. You're going to be gathering from the straggler trees, and once you're done with 3 straggler trees, you go into the lumber camp after. Here, I scout my opponent has gone for spearman and archer opener. That is fine. If I have a couple of horsemen, I can use triumph and take these out rather quickly, or just run around them depending on how annoying they are. I am out on some of these resources here, so it's important that I don't lose access to them, because that would just delay me too much. Alright. So I'm building the aqueduct, I'm getting some horsemen, and then I think I get 4 horsemen here, and then I go on Exploratores. What you want to be hitting is, of course, these resources. I'm playing against Abbasid here, and Abbasid pretty much every single game is going to play 2DC, so I know that I'm looking for that second town center, or the villagers gathering stone for it. The woodvilles are going to be hard to reach, and so what he's done here is he's taken his spearmen and archers back home, and he's now gathering the rest of the stone. I checked the stone is 850 stone, and then he can pull the villagers away. So I'm just trying to delay this town center, potentially kill some villagers, but I'm also trying to avoid the spearmen. In the base, I am now building a lumber camp, and when I have built the lumber camp, I'm going to go for double broadaxe. Because we have those 2 villagers on gold, we're going to get pretty much every single upgrade we can get. We're not looking for a castle age, so when you have gold for an upgrade, such as double broadaxe or horticulture, just get it. It's important you get it really quickly, because the quicker you get it, the faster your eco scales. Because the thing is, with Byzantines, you are not gonna have a lot of punching power besides those early horsemen. Once the tower is up or they have enough spearmen out, we lose momentum. And that is okay, because we regain it later with our upgrades, with our mercenaries, and with our cisterns producing more and more units. We're going to be hitting not those 40 units at about minute 10, but a little bit later we have a lot of stronger units, better upgrades, and so maybe we hit that at minute 11. Here, I think I find the villagers that go out. So you can see I've queued up double broadaxe. So what I see here is he's gotten the wood villager still, which means he didn't gather the wood early. He went for a barrack, and he's making spearmen. I'm looking for a villager kill here. I activate my triumph ability. That is absolutely okay to do if you are going to be able to get 1 villager kill. Getting 1 villager kill is already pretty big at this stage of the game. Horsemen. Now, in a moment, we're going to go onto an archer range, and then we go for mercenary camp after. You can prioritize getting the archer range quicker by not rallying on food after you've gotten your 8 on wood, and then just keep rallying on wood, so you get archer range quicker. Here, I do go for more and more horsemen first, because I know he's going for the second TC, and therefore I don't need the archers as quickly, but you could also make the argument, well, he does have spears and he made a barrack as well, so you should get archers out. Yeah, but I also have the movement speed, and I have my triumph ability, and so I can just out micro this. But if it's difficult for you to micro horsemen, then maybe you should try getting archers out quicker. That will help you deal with this spearmen. Here comes the archer range, and then in a moment I'm going to build the mercenary camp, the mercenary house as it is called. I find his villagers here on the deer, building the TC. He's got about 4 spearmen here, so I'm just trying to split the spearmen up, and then I can go in afterwards. So you can see I still have the triumph ability, but not for long, only for, I think, a few seconds here. And so I go in and I try to do as much damage as possible. I actually managed to get quite a lot of kills here. So I drag away the spearman with this 1 horseman. These horsemen over here try to kill the villagers here. And I notice how he has 2 low villagers here, so I just go for it. I lose 2 or 3 horsemen here, but that's absolutely okay, because I have now killed 3 villagers at minute 7:30, and he's got the second TC. We're way ahead. So it's okay to lose a couple of horsemen, in my opinion, when somebody's going for a second TC. As for mercenaries, let's talk about it. We have 3 different mercenary options. We have our Eastern mercenary contract, which is Keshiks, and then we have the Western one, which is longbows, and we have the one for javelins. And the javelin one is really good for defending. It's really good to play Limitanei with. So if you're playing a 2TC build and you're opting in to defend a bit more, that is definitely the way to go. Longbows can also work, but longbows take longer to get out, and they're slow, and they're an overall good unit, whereas javelins specialize in taking out archers, and so that's why you would pick those. Longbows, you can go for them if you want to. They're still too expensive compared to the other units, that have their original cost converted to oil. I think Keshiks is the best for aggression play. I've tried doing longbows, but it's too slow in my opinion. Try to do the Keshiks. They are really good at dealing with banner arms as well because they're a knight type unit. So get the Keshiks out, especially if your opponent has the option to go for man arms, if they're playing English, if they're playing HRE, those types of civs. Alright, so what are we looking at now? Well, we have split the eco a little bit differently according to the build because we wanted to go for more archers, because this guy is going for a lot of spearmen. We are now going to make a second archer range in a moment, and then go into a blacksmith for upgrades. So it's okay to re-macro, don't be scared to do this. If you feel like you can't go full horseman and then only a couple of archers, that's okay. Instead, you can try to go for spearmen if they have horses, to go for archers. Really depends. What is important is that you use your horsemen to do as much eco damage as possible. Alright. So we've got our cistern. They're level 2. We can almost go for the 3rd level cistern, but we're going to need a couple more houses first. A couple more buildings first. We're not going to gather stone for cisterns in this game, and in general for this build, because the stone we get pretty much at the point where we have to move out to a 3rd resource. So we have our sheep in the base, we have our berries, and then the 3rd resource might be berries here, and the deer. So this is where we would build our 3rd cistern. So you don't have to wait for the cistern to go out, but if you can build it out there, that's great, because you get that extra gather speed. Alright, so we obviously sacrificed a lot of military units. We're about 10 minutes in, and some civs will have 30 to 40 units now. We have 20. We did also lose quite a lot of units, but we killed a couple of vills too. So now we're just going to keep on doing what we did before. Notice how I have Keshiks as well. Keshiks are going to be really strong in pretty much any situation here against any unit that my opposite opponent can make, besides the spearmen, of course. So you just keep circling around your opponent. If you want more details on how to do these all-ins, go and check out the video that I have on my channel for how to do feudal all-ins. It's a really good video. So here he's going for massive amounts of spearmen and then camels. In here we are moving out as well. We are able to build the cistern now, and so that's what we're doing. Cistern coming up. We've built a blacksmith and an archer range. That was what was needed for us to get the stone required. And then we built a 3rd cistern. Connected, and now you're going to be having 18 extra rate. Keep moving around your enemy's base. Now we're 12 minutes in and we are on the 40 units. We would be able to get the 40 units at about minute 11 had we not lost as many. Here we get a lot of villager kills. We activate Triumph. Our archers are dealing with the spearmen, and we are losing a couple of archers, but what is most important here is killing villagers. So he had a lot more than he could garrison here. We get both gold, but we also just kill his villagers. So what you notice now is we're 12:30 in time-wise, and we have actually the same amount of villagers. This is really, really important, because if you're at this stage in the game where you are still at the same amount of villagers against a 2DC opponent, going all in is a no-brainer. You go for that no matter what. So here we get... So we are up at 13 villager kills now. I can't even count this. This is going so fast. Because we were able to position his army on our archers, we could just go in with our cavalry. So we killed 22 in total now. This is basically where the game ends for him. So this is super good. Use the Triumph, get the Keshiks, get the Horsemen, and make sure that you avoid the Spearmen. Then you will be able to pull some of this off against somebody who's going 2DC. If they're going 1TC, play it a little bit more conservatively. Wait for them to sort of move out. And if they're going for Castle Age, they'll have fewer units, obviously. That's when you push them. If they're going full feudal, look for fights, look for raids that are good for you. And that's pretty much it. Here, I think I go for... Did I already go for it? Yes, so I went for siege engineering. And so what I'm going to be doing now is I'm going to be building a ram. And then I'm going to start burning down his production buildings. Why am I not burning down the TC? And that's because, for me, I can end this game rather quickly if I burn down his production buildings. So that's what I'm going to be trying to do. Here, use your archers on top of the spearmen. When you have about 10 archers, you can one-shot spears. So that's what you're trying to do. upgrades wise, we have gone for archer upgrades first, and then we went for the melee ones. Melee ones are not really that important. That's basically just because I can, so it's a win more type of thing. Here we get another 5 villager kills, I think. Or is that just 2? I think it's just 2 villager kills. And then I move into the ram because now I'm going to go for my final push. The game is over. I'm just ending the game here. So I've been constantly producing Keshiks. I've been on 2 archer ranges. I've been on the Imperial Hippodrome. This has been pretty much just making horsemen non-stop this entire game. And that's all you need. You don't need more production necessarily until later, because the cisterns just give you that extra production speed of 60%. So that is super, super strong. Definitely something to remember. You can make more units that way. And again, this is just, you know, another reason why Byzantines are good for long feudals. For the short shock value damage, they only have the horsemen early. Use the archers and the spearmen, use your horsemen on their ranged units, and then, yeah, let the ram do the work, win the game. That's pretty much it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this guide. It's a very simple guide. If you check it out in the description, it's very simple, and there's not a lot more to it. This is super strong against most civs. I would not do this against Mongols because of tower rushing. And I wouldn't do this against Rus either because of their defensive landmark. Chinese can also be difficult to do against. Malians, if they have Saharan trade network. So there are some civs that this is not as good against because they have anti-cavalry utility, or they have defensive landmarks. But that is the same thing with most build orders. They work against most things, but there's some things that they don't work against. So that's pretty much it. If you're interested in coaching, check out the coaching details now, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.